Almost wound up sitting on this armrest. Good morning, happy Tuesday, everyone. Let's see. You know what? I don't really need to say much about my low because it was pretty much what everybody was complaining about yesterday. So I'm just gonna TLDR and say it was cold yesterday. I mean, was it the coldest it's been this whole year? No, but everyone and their grandma was absolutely livid due to the fact that, we literally just had like a 75-degree weekend until Sunday, and then now it's cold again. No kidding, it was so bad that as I was getting some grocery shopping done, there was a mom and her kid walking into the store, and the mom was complaining about how upstate New York weather works. Like, that's how bad it was. Such is the life of an upstate New Yorker. Don't get me wrong, I love where I live. It's just, you're going to have problems no matter where you go. So I guess I'm okay with here. I mean, as far as I know, we don't get any earthquakes or tornadoes, so that's pretty good. What's my high? Speaking of high, yes, I am well aware of the fact that yesterday was 420. All my high is I was able to catch up on a lot of stuff that I watched. Honestly, the weekend was just so busy, I missed a bunch of things I normally watch, so I got to catch up on that. And my act of kindness was I remembered to call my mom. Tell her I love her, because, it's something I like to do. Well, I'll just say it right now, just for laughs, before the video started. I looked to see if there was going to be anything Hot Ones related this week. There isn't. Although, due to the fact that, again, yesterday was 420, someone on Instagram posted, we need to see Seth Rogen and Snoop Dogg on Hot Ones Versus. It's never going to happen, but I like the enthusiasm. I mean, what is there to even say about not just the fact that yesterday was 420, but, my history with, or lack thereof with, drugs in general. I mean, you're not really going to find much. I mean, I'm completely sober, so, living life in the fast lane, as Randy Feltface once said. But, I was pretty much, I mean, keep in mind, I definitely was that kind of kid where, I like to have fun, I like to goof around, but I always hated getting yelled at, even if it was for the most ridiculous reason ever. Because that's just how I'm wired. I hate getting yelled at. So, if I'm getting yelled at for, goofing around or, roughhousing, imagine how much worse it'll be if I ever did drugs, Which actually does remind me of an old Justice League episode. Specifically, it was during the two-parter with the Justice Lords. If you don't know, obviously the DC Universe many times has played with the multiverse. And there's actually one universe where the Justice League, back when it was just the 7 of them, in this case, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, they pretty much take over the government and pretty much rule the world. Because, with Superman. Superman could do it single-handedly, but now there's 7 of them, so you gotta be careful. And there was a confrontation between our Justice League Batman and the Justice Lord's Batman. Obviously, Justice Lords, they're the alternate universe guys. So they fight, but they sort of like come to terms with, yeah, there's problems no matter where you go. So what follows is the fact that both of the Batmans are hanging out with each other, and they're driving around Gotham in the Batmobile during the day. Think about that. How often do you really? Oh, I mean, yes, obviously, in the movies and cartoons. Yeah, you do see Gotham like during the day, but you never see Batman out and about in Gotham during the day. Like, you either see Bruce Wayne in Gotham during the day, or you see Batman in Gotham at night. They never overlap ever, which is crazy. But they're driving around Gotham, and Justice League Batman says, "This is Gotham? There's no litter." And then Justice Lord's Batman says, "If you want people to respect the big laws, you've got to enforce the little ones." Straight up, that's pretty much what my parents did with me. And my brother. We're both clean and sober. My brother has a wife and 3 kids. So can't say that my parents' parenting skills didn't work, because they totally did. And honestly, doing drugs just seemed like one of those. It just never really interested me very much. Not to mention, growing up my entire life, stuff like marijuana was illegal. I'm not going to go to jail for something like. If I'm going to go to jail, let it be for something that's actually worth getting in trouble for. And honestly, something like drugs, which really are avoidable, that's just not my thing. Listen, there are people that, smoke marijuana for the sake of, it calms them down, it's prescribed medically, and that's fine. If that really is how it works for you guys, by all means, please keep doing it. I will never dispute that. It's just something that I would never do. And the same came with drinking alcohol. With drinking alcohol as well. I thought I would never drink alcohol ever. Like, ever. In fact, my very first beer, I actually waited until I was 21. Yes. I, being the good little boy that I was, waited until I was 21 to have my first beer. It was actually a tall boy. Specifically Budweiser. Tasted like canned bread. And it nearly knocked me out on my own birthday. So, needless to say, your boy's a lightweight. Well, sort of. I like to feel that my tolerance is a bit better. But again, I never really seek out drinking. I will have a beer every now and again, and if there's something like a wine tasting or some kind of spirits tasting, I'll partake in that. But again, I never really seek that stuff out. Especially when, on my own form of, I have to drive, so if I am going to have anything to drink, it's going to be, 1 beer at most. And that's actually been like my thing. Over the years, I've developed a series of, rules to follow when it comes to drinking for me. And just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody else. In fact, I'm absolutely positive it's not going to work for everybody else because, again, people are wired differently. But, I've done the obvious, don't drink and drive. Don't drink feeling overly emotional one way or the other going in. only have one. If I have more than one, somebody else better be paying. Seriously, okay. Like, considering how popular of a substance that alcohol is, you'd think it'd be about as cheap as soda, but obviously the process to make soda a lot cheaper, more convenient than it is to drinking any alcoholic beverage. So, yeah, that I get. And again, that was always that's why I will always love soda, because I didn't need to wait until I was 21 in order to have it. That makes it very convenient. I guess if I were to say there was any drug, quote unquote, that I am addicted to, maybe I guess caffeine. Even though I've never really let it affect me. I am going to get something caffeine related in the morning, for sure. But other than that, honestly, I drink soda for, pleasure, because that's what I do. As for any of the other really illegal drugs, the drugs that, really will ruin your life, listen, I'm well aware that there are places to get it. I'm never going to seek them out, nor do I want to. Listen, I'll put it this way. The point of me making these videos every day is so that I keep doing it pretty much forever. Until I happily pass away at a ripe old age. Hopefully that actually, hold on. I want to knock on wood for that. So, listen. Yes, I know one day my life will end, but if that's the case, it's not going to be because of drugs. Okay? That's really not going to be the case. And I would rather not it be the case. Let's see. With that being said, 420, a lot of people like to celebrate 420. There was like a big concert somewhere in Elmira that happened yesterday, but again, I didn't really partake in that because it just wasn't my thing. And I'm sure there were people who smoked weed yesterday for the sake of, again, it's 420, why don't you? But I'll be honest, because even though I've never smoked it, I've obviously smelled it, from afar, just because somebody somewhere was smoking it, I don't know. And it doesn't really smell all that pleasant. Neither does cigarette smoke either, but, actually, is there, technically inhaling either one is secondhand smoke. And neither one is good for you. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, as heavily taxed as tobacco is, I actually prefer that smell over marijuana. And again, I don't smoke. But come on, I've been in enough places where you're gonna smell from somewhere. I've worked with people who smoke, so, and that's their prerogative. I'm not gonna judge them for things that they do. It's not my business. So yeah. Am I probably really boring that I don't really, don't seek out drugs or alcohol or anything like that? You could argue that, yeah, I am. But honestly, I think I'd rather be boring and being able to do stuff like make videos every day than, being not boring and, risk never being able to do stuff like this anymore. Yeah, I like making videos. I love making videos too much to ever stop doing that. Although, and that's another thing too, like, here's the thing, I actually want to keep this relatively pure as possible. I mean, there's a reason why you never even see me eat on camera. Because, well, for one thing, I feel like it would distract from whatever it is I'm talking about. But also, and a friend of mine actually, there's someone I know who actually really doesn't care for this. Like, when people make videos and eat on camera, like, they either talk with their mouth full or open, or the way they chew their food, like, I feel her pain. If any of you guys are grossed out by that, believe me, you're not the only one. I mean, some people like Brad Williams, aka the Cinema Stop, he'll do like Brad Tries. He actually does it pretty. He's pretty classy about that sort of thing. So I guess if I would ever do it, be like Brad Williams. I will admit though, there are a lot of people I've watched doing food content for sure. Not just cooking, but like people eating food in their cars, like how Kev eats. 1 hour lunch break, Luke Foods. Those guys are actually fun to watch, I'll admit. I had considered doing that though myself. I have. And maybe someday I will, but that's not really in the cards right now. Speaking of which though, I am getting kind of hungry. I do need to get myself some breakfast. So I think I'll do just that. So, for those of you who celebrated 420 yesterday, I hope you had a great day. I'm sure you did exactly what you wanted to do. Or in my case, didn't want to do. And, actually, funny story. A friend of mine posted yesterday, happy 420. Yeah, marijuana in New York State's been legal for the last 5 years, and said it's a good thing too, because I was tired of behaving like a criminal, or something along those lines. I thought that was really funny. Hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very humble. This video for all of you guys who watch. Enjoy everything. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And remember, if you want to talk, change, we're here to let me know back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.